I the jerk for wanting my partner to apologize? My partner does not apologize, and it sometimes drives me nuts. For example, we go out for the evening. After we have driven for 10 minutes, he says, "I forgot my wallet." We return, he goes in, and I wait in the car. He returns 20 minutes later and does not say, "I am sorry it took so long." He says, "The wallet was not where I remembered it was, and it took me 15 minutes to find it." I do not particularly care and I do not need an explanation, but I would like to hear "I am sorry." It could be, "I am sorry it took so long, I did not remember." But he does not give the apology, just the explanation. The other day we were walking with bikes. The path got narrow, I went ahead, and he ran my foot over with the wheel of his bike. He said, "The path is too narrow." No, I am sorry. This is a consistent pattern. He offers an explanation, but on 90% of occasions, no apology. When I am not tired, well slept and fed, I do not outwardly react to this, even though it rubs me the wrong way every time. If I am tired, underslept, or hungry, I might react with, "Why would you not say sorry?" This conversation is unsuccessful. He usually first repeats the explanation. If I say yes, I understand the reasons, but I would like an apology, he would most likely say something like, "I am sorry the path is so narrow." If I am unsatisfied with this, which usually I am not, he says, "I said sorry and you are still unhappy." Then anywhere between 30 minutes and an hour of a stupid fight occurs, and he finally produces a reasonable response to the initial cause. "I am sorry I ran over your foot, and I am sorry for not apologizing earlier. I am getting tired of this fight. They are so pointless." I keep reminding myself that trying to change others is a stupid idea. Am I the asshole? Are my expectations unreasonable? P.S. I am currently in therapy, and there I discovered that I have quite high levels of guilt and shame. So I genuinely do not know if I am being reasonable here, or if I am trying to extend my over-guilt onto another human being. You are not the jerk. It's completely reasonable to want your partner to care about the negative impact their actions have on you, and to be sorry for it. If they never apologize, it shows they never think they're wrong or make mistakes. Your partner sounds like an inconsiderate person who needs to learn to apologize. Am I the jerk for wearing clothes my sibling threw out and then deciding to give them back? I, a 16-year-old female, and my sister, a 21-year-old female, both share clothes like regular siblings do. Obviously, as her younger sister, I have always liked her style and liked to borrow her clothes with permission, of course. A week ago, my sister was cleaning out her closet and decided to throw some of her clothes out, saying I could go through it to get anything I liked. However, she threw out the clothes before I got a chance to actually go through them, which made me upset, but it was okay. I decided to go to the trash can a few days later before the garbage trucks came to pick all the trash up and literally dug to get the bags out. I happily went through the clothes and got everything I wanted. I put the clothes in a bag and went upstairs to my room. I told my sister about all the stuff and how there was a sweater I had gotten that I had been wanting, which is expensive. She told me to give it back. I told her I would give it back after I borrowed it once and washed it, which she was okay with. Today I was wearing some shorts that were in one of the trash bags, and my sister got out of the shower and simply looked at me. We have not really been on speaking terms lately, because she has honestly just been pissing me off lately, and it is draining to be around her. But I decided to say hi to her because why not? She looked at me and said, "Are those my shorts?" I simply responded with, "Yeah, they were in the trash." She said, "In the trash? Well, they're mine. I just got those." I said, "Well, they were in the trash, and I didn't know you just got them." She said, "Yeah, well, give them back, they're mine," and angrily asked, "Why are you always wearing my stuff?" I simply said, "They were in the trash, so I thought you didn't want them," and then went to my room. I decided to take the shorts off and wash the entire bag of clothes I had taken out of the garbage, so I could give her everything back because I was so pissed off. Later on, I went to the washing machine to dry the clothes, and my sister came up to tell me, "Don't worry about the shorts, I was just tripping." I was obviously pissed off because she literally made a whole scene about the shorts, and I said, "Don't worry, I am giving you all the clothes I got from the trash bag." She literally laughed straight in my face and gave me a side eye, which pissed me off even more. I decided to just storm off to my room. She said something, but I didn't hear what she said, and I do not care either. I am just pissed off because she is acting like it is my fault that she threw all her clothes out and like I stole everything that I got. So, am I the asshole for wearing and keeping the clothes? You are not in the wrong here. Your sister needs to grow up. Throwing something out means she gave up her claim to it, plain and simple. It doesn't matter if she just bought them. Honestly, what is she thinking? Am I the jerk for telling my sister-in-law to stop asking me questions she doesn't want the answers to? I am a teacher, and sometimes my sister-in-law, husband's sister, asks me questions about children that she never likes the answers to. It is mostly focused on children and blended families because she and her husband have a blended family. They have questions that she expects me to provide more insight into, but I feel like she wants validation and gets mad when it doesn't happen. For example, her oldest child's teacher sent home a message on his school tablet. The message was specifically addressed to the parent and not the parents. She was upset to learn her son had asked for it to be addressed that way versus to the parents. She asked me if that was something children would normally do instead of letting it be to the parents of the child. I told her my school handled it differently, but I know from some teachers who used to send home actual notes that they did encounter some children who would specify, even if they had an active step-parent. She told me that's abnormal, and I said it's something teachers encounter. I told her I get corrected if I say parents to a child instead of parents sometimes, and I learned not to do it. She told me that was utter nonsense, and children don't really do that kind of thing. Her older 2 children and her stepchildren all use step and half exclusively, and they never use brother or sister for siblings who are not full biological siblings. She asked me if I hear this often in the context of school, and I said yes. I said I hear children use step and half for siblings, and it is about 50-50 in my experience. She refused to believe it was that frequent, and that the parents don't put a stop to it. She accused me of lying. My sister-in-law had 2 biological children when she met her husband, and both of them have different fathers. Her oldest child's father died 5 years ago, and they broke up during her pregnancy. She and her second child's father broke up when both were still pretty young. Her husband has 3 children, 1 from a college girlfriend and 2 from his ex-wife. Together, my sister-in-law and her husband have 2 children. So they are very blended, and there are some other parents involved, more so with her husband's exes. The children range from 14 years old to 3 years old. I have taught 2nd and 3rd grade, so generally younger children. Because her older children and stepchildren were younger when the families blended, she comes to me. But I am tired of her asking questions she doesn't want the answers to or doesn't like the answers to. When she asked me a question last week, I told her to stop asking questions she doesn't want the answers to. She told me I should be willing to help out, and I am wrong to say whether she does or doesn't want the answers. My husband told her I was right and that she always takes it out on me when she doesn't hear what she likes. But other members of their family feel like I should just keep answering her questions and apologize for saying what I did, she told them. Am I the asshole? I think you are not in the wrong here. Your sister-in-law doesn't have to like the answers, and she is totally tail for arguing with them. It's easier to bury her head in the sand than to face the harsh reality that her kids may not be happy in their blended family. Maybe just gray rock by saying, every family is different. I don't think my experience on this is useful to you, and change the subject. Am I the jerk for selling the house and creating tension with my parent? Hi everyone. It's been almost 2 years since I, a 30-year-old man, last spoke to my parent. Here's the backstory. About 3 years ago, my parent and I decided to buy a small townhouse together. The agreement was that I would pay the mortgage, and they would cover other expenses like rates, body corporate fees, electricity, and food. My dad gifted me $30,000 auto deposit. My mom, who worked part-time, handled most of the inspections and ultimately chose the townhouse, despite it being a bit old. My dad, who worked 2 jobs, wasn't involved in the decision-making. My partner, a 34-year-old woman, and I, who had been dating for just over a year and hadn't been introduced to my parent yet, decided to renovate the house to make a good impression. We did extensive work, including new floors, painting, and new fixtures. My partner even shopped with my mom to pick out everything. Despite our efforts, my mom constantly criticized the renovations, saying they didn't meet her expectations, even though she chose all the designs. After living there for a year, I decided to get engaged and move in with my partner. Managing 2 mortgages seemed daunting given my income of around $60,000 Audi at the time. I asked my parent if they could take over the mortgage to help. They refused, insisting I stick to our original agreement, despite knowing my partner's income and assuming we could handle both mortgages. This caused significant stress and strained relations between my parent and my partner. After failed attempts to renegotiate, I experienced mental health issues. My 31-year-old sister sided with my parent, adding to the tension. Eventually, unable to resolve the financial strain and emotional toll, I decided to sell the property. It wasn't for profit. We didn't even check the property's value. When I informed my mom about selling, she deferred to my dad for financial matters but later requested reimbursement for air conditioning and fans she had installed. My dad demanded $30,000 plus $30,000 in compensation, recording our conversation without my knowledge. After legal negotiations and taking out a loan, I repaid my dad $40,000 and sold the property, ending up with a $60,000 surplus. Now, my relationship with my parent is strained. I wonder if I handled the situation poorly. So, am I the asshole for selling the house and causing tension with my parent? It's important to recognize that life changes and so do decisions, which can lead to unexpected financial situations. While handling the situation with more communication would have been better, expecting parents to take over the mortgage isn't fair. Kids shouldn't be expected to finance their parents or never grow and start their own lives. It seems like the expectations and communications about the townhouse and the $30,000 gift loan were not clear from the start. Am I the jerk for telling my cousin off for being a wild animal at my grandpa's birthday party? I feel like I am losing it here. I, a 30-year-old female, grew up with strict values, especially when it came to table manners and how we present ourselves. Our family has always been the one to host gatherings and big family get-togethers, putting a lot of effort into making them special. This time, it was my grandpa's 85th birthday, and we were excited to go all out. I spent hours decorating. Mom was busy contacting people and cooking up a storm. Dad spared no expense to make sure everything was perfect. Now my cousin Jane, a 22-year-old female, has had a tough time growing up because her parents were never quite stable, dealing with drinking problems and even incarceration. Mom has always felt sorry for her and sees Jane almost like one of her own. Because of this, Mom tends to cut Jane some slack that she wouldn't for anyone else. Jane herself is a bit unconventional, and I don't blame her given her rough upbringing. She recently started dating someone, and they adopted this marmoset monkey named Nips together. What bugs me isn't so much Jane's choices, but rather that she insists on bringing Nips everywhere, including our house. My mom used to have strict rules about animals indoors. She wouldn't even allow a big dog inside because she thought it was unhygienic. Yet, when it comes to Jane and Nips, suddenly all rules seem to fly out the window. Mom finds Nips adorable and can't help but coo over her whenever Jane brings her around, even at special events. Jane originally couldn't make it to Grandpa's birthday because she had another commitment, which honestly gave me some relief. But then Jane shows up later, saying the other event got postponed due to the host being sick. And of course she brings Nips along. Mom doesn't scold Jane like I expected. Instead, she starts fussing over Nips and showing her off to everyone, including Grandpa, who clearly looks uncomfortable with the whole situation. I lost it. I couldn't hold back and asked Jane why on earth she thought it was appropriate to bring a monkey to Grandpa's birthday. She looked confused, saying she always brings her along. I told her it was disrespectful and she should have left Nips at home. Jane started crying, apologized, and left. Mom was furious with me, saying I ruined her efforts to make Jane feel welcome in our family. Grandpa looked really sad after Jane left, and now I'm stuck feeling like the bad guy. Everyone seems to think I overreacted, but seriously, who in their right mind brings a monkey to a family event? Am I the antagonist? You are the jerk here, OP, for sure. This wasn't your house or your birthday party, so deciding for your mother and grandfather wasn't your place. Your mom was hosting, and she was fine with it. It honestly seems like you just don't like your cousin much, and you ended up ruining your grandpa's 85th birthday party for everyone. Am I the jerk for moving in with my father instead of staying with my mother? Am I the asshole for choosing to live with my father instead of my mother? Currently, we live in an apartment. A few weeks ago, my mother sat me down and said she could no longer afford the next month's rent, and that we would be moving in with her boyfriend. I have met him before, he is chill. Because of the move, she would also have to inform my father. I do not like big changes, but I was ready to just deal with it. A day or two later, she asked me what my thoughts were on moving in with my father. She expected me to say no, but I said I wanted to. My father only lives about 20 to 30 minutes from where we are currently. In comparison, we would be moving 2 hours away. I will not be as far from my really good friends and my partner of about 9 months. The place 2 hours away has nothing there for me, and at my father's, there is. My mother hates the idea of me getting a job because it is unsafe. Therefore, living my next 6 months with her, I would have zero experience coming into adulthood. After I told her that I do not hate the idea of living with him, she spent 3 hours trying to convince me otherwise. She even told me to get my partner to the house so she could ask him about his opinion on my decision. After that 3-hour talk, I went to my room and reached out to my father so I could see what I was getting myself into. In that phone call, I learned that he and his wife are business owners, and he said he would love to teach me how to drive. Those are 2 very important experiences that will help me when becoming an adult that I will not have with my mother. A few days later, I asked my mother if I could hang out with my partner, and she said no. Her explanation was that I was too obsessed and that she wished she had noticed it sooner. I waited some more days before asking again because I thought she just wanted us to hang out less rather than not at all. When I asked, she said no. I asked if hanging out with him was on the table at all, and she said no. This time, her reason was that she had no reason to facilitate that for you anymore, which is fancy for grounded. There is so much more to it on her end, but this is already a really long story. Am I the asshole for choosing to live with my father to the point of my mother grounding and isolating me? You did nothing wrong here. Your mom is punishing you for not preferring her, which is unfair. You should just go to your dad's now instead of waiting around and letting your mom be petty. It seems like there's not much she could do to stop you if your dad supports you. Thanks for watching. When you subscribe, make sure to hit the bell to turn on notifications so you never miss a video. To finish listening to all the stories, check out the playlist in the description.